Hi, everybody. I am so glad you have joined us today for our feature interview this week. It is with Jennifer Guerin of Over the Moon Diapers. Thank you so much for being with us. Let me just introduce myself really quick for those of you who don't know me. My name is Gina Whitehouse. I'm the creator of YourMoreThanMom.com. I'm a mom of two. I have a successful business from home. I'm an entrepreneur, a wife, and thank you again so much for joining us. So, Jennifer, let's start by you just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mom to an 11-month-old son, Henry, and prior to him being born, I worked as a physical therapist for 15 years. My husband is an officer in the Army, and just before Henry was born, we actually relocated from the Boston area down to the Richmond area while he is stationed at Fort Lee. So we had a lot of changes in the past year, and that's kind of where we're at now. We purchased a company just a few months ago and kind of making that transition to new mom and entrepreneur all at once.
All right, great. So you used to work as a physical therapist, and you did that for 15 years. You did it for a pretty long time. And so tell us a little bit about your transition from, being in your profession for so long to now being a stay-at-home mom.
Well, it was a big change for me. I had worked full-time in various settings as a therapist, and there's a lot of schooling entailed with being a physical therapist. As an entry-level therapist, I had a master's degree, and then I went back and got a doctorate. You're always kind of participating in continuing education and trying to kind of hone your skills and become an expert. So after 15 years in a career, there's a lot of effort and skill that's gotten into it. Having children is something that I always wanted, and I always hoped that I could stay home with my children. And so I feel fortunate that I have been able to do that without working full-time as a physical therapist. But there were definitely a lot of changes, with that transition, what I think a lot of moms would say. That feeling of isolation where I'm used to going into a physical therapy clinic for, 8 or 10 hours a day. I have a full schedule of people who you get to know pretty well over the course of a few months. So, getting to see so many faces, and I consider myself a social person, to being home, and not only being home with my son, but we also are new to the area. So all of my friends and family were left up in New England. So it was a big transition, staying home with Henry, for sure.
Let's talk about, before we press play on this interview, we talked a little bit about when you're working and then you go and you become a stay-at-home mom, and then you become a stay-at-home mom as a work-at-home mom, you almost feel like you don't fit in a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard. You kind of don't belong to either groups. When I kind of ventured out with Henry when he was really young and tried to meet other moms, there were a lot of moms who stayed home full time. And, I do still work on a per diem basis as a physical therapist, which winds up being a couple days a month. So, I'm not quite the stay-at-home mom, and now I have this company, so I have that I need to tend to. And then when I go into work, people often ask me where else I work because they can't imagine that I only work a few days a month. So, I'm not I'm kind of don't belong to either group, where I'm not a working mom, I'm not a stay-at-home mom, but I'm something kind of in between with all of my different, the company, and still trying to keep a foot in the profession.
Yeah, I can definitely identify with that too. It's so hard to explain it. It's so hard for me to even put into words, but you do feel that sometimes, like you don't fit into either group. And luckily you were telling me also that when you were pregnant, you had a friend who matched you up with another friend that lived in your area, and she was pregnant too. And I think you might have said she even works from home too, or has something.
She does, yep.
Yeah. So, that's just a lifesaver. Even just having that one friend that you can connect with and open up to is good. And I would say for any of you moms watching right now, that's one thing that our community is about, is YourMoreThanMom.com, is bringing together women who are just like us, who maybe don't feel like we fit in, and we want to connect during the day with other women who are just like that, like us. And so we have our community group on Facebook that we're building right now. We have our social media platforms. We have our website to give content to everybody, so they feel like they're not alone. But definitely our group on Facebook is something we're trying to build right now so that people like you and I, can meet other moms, even though, I'm on one side of the country and you're on the other side of the country. We can still connect like this, and we know that we're not alone, So, and then I also want to touch on really quick for those of you watching, go out and meet people. If you feel like you're alone, even though you might be a stay-at-home mom who doesn't have a business yet, or you might have a business, but definitely go into Facebook, go and join groups, get to know people there in your same area. Meetup.com is really great to meet other people and moms that are doing similar things in your area, to go and start just networking with people. So now tell us about your business. So tell us about Over the Moon Diapers.
So my husband and I purchased Over the Moon Diapers. Actually, it was an existing business that was started back in 2012. And we're actually about 2 months into it, being the new owners. So it's basically a cloth diaper and accessory boutique. They have some baby wearing items, some breastfeeding, but the primary focus is on cloth diapering and kind of, more than just buying the diapers, but helping you troubleshoot what's going to be the best fit for you and your family. We have diapers of different price points, different packages where, there are diapers that are one size. However, they typically only fit babies once they're 8 or 10 pounds. Most people have babies smaller than that, so there is a newborn size diaper option, but given that babies are in that size for a very limited amount of time, it can be a significant investment. So one thing that we offer is a newborn diaper rental program where we have new packages where we put together a variety of different diapers. So you can kind of try diapers at different price points to say, I really like these high-end diapers. I think that's what I want to go with. Or, this one is a different style diaper that's maybe not as expensive, and I didn't have to invest that money in order to figure that out. Now I'm stuck with all these diapers that I don't like to use. So it's an 8-week program that they can buy new packages or gently used packages. And it's a really big saver. And, you can also try cloth diapering because it's certainly not for everybody. But a lot of people find that it's helpful to save money, people who are concerned about the environmental impacts of the amount of disposable diapers that we throw away, and the chemical exposure also that are in the disposable diapers, those little gel things that explode and so forth. A lot of people are concerned about that. And we have, they're synthetic fiber diapers, and we have everything to organic cotton, bamboo, hemp fabric diapers. So we really have that variety.
Now I have to ask you, how did you go from, let's say, physical therapy to now starting a cloth diapering business?
Yeah, I know. A lot of people ask me that. Well, I always kind of wanted to own a company and kind of be my own boss, and I always thought that it would be in the physical therapy realm, or I actually was also a Pilates instructor. Well, I guess I still technically so I always thought that would be kind of where I would go, but given that my husband's in the Army, moving around every couple years doesn't really lend itself to opening up a bricks and mortar facility where you're leasing space and you have a lot of, think about if you have seen Pilates equipment, the reformers and the chairs and so forth, and then think about if you've ever been in a physical therapy clinic, the big heavy equipment. If we had to lug that around, and it would be impossible to build up, clientele in that amount of time. So we kind of had to shift gears. When I married my husband, I had to kind of shift gears in my thinking of how else can I make this dream of becoming an entrepreneur come true. So, over the past 6 months, we had kind of looked into different options. The baby thing seemed like an obvious choice because I'm kind of entrenched in that right now. And we looked around and thought about, do we start something up ourselves, just brainstorming different ideas. he was really lobbying for like a Jeep off-road 4x4 angle, which I know nothing about. And then, you know, I am in a lot of these mom groups and Facebook groups for the cloth diapering because I've cloth diapered my son Henry from early on. And one day in July, it just kind of popped up in the Facebook feed that there was an established cloth diaper business that was for sale. And we contacted the owners. It was a mother and daughter who had started the company outside of Memphis. And, you know, my husband and I felt like we had the skills. You know, I kind of have the baby knowledge and the cloth diapering background. And he's also working on his MBA at William & Mary. So he has more of the business and the, you know, keeping track of that aspect. He kind of has that experience. So we kind of felt like this would be a good fit for us in terms of, you know, being a good opportunity for something that already had a reputation, you know, and it's a small company and there are certainly bigger ones with better known names out there, but we hope that, you know, we can retain some of the clientele and, you know, hopefully grow the business into something bigger.
Very good. And one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you that is like, because I think as people, as women who used to be in our careers, we get into this thinking that what we went to school for is the only thing we can ever do in the future, right?
Yeah,
that we can do something completely different because we don't have a degree. We don't have something on a piece of paper says that, you know, I got a degree and also in this, you know? And so I think it's good for people to hear and see that, look, you just started a business. Yeah, it popped up, you know, you saw the opportunity there, but you took a chance on doing a business just based on your own experience. And it's only been 11 months of experience of cloth diapering, right? Your son's 11 months. And so I think what I want to say to everybody is right now is look at what you're doing right now. You know, a lot of our experience just comes from what you're doing and living through something. And you can definitely take that and build a business out of it. Why not, right? Especially when you
asked me a year ago, I would have had no idea that I would even know enough about cloth diapers too.
I know, right? I mean, so I'll do a little plug here for our Uniquely You workbook. And I don't always talk about it in the interviews, but this is a really great chance to bring it up because, you know, we have this workbook that you can download for free. It's uniquelyyouworkbook.com. So any of you who are watching this right now where you feel like maybe your career that you had before is not something that you can bring directly home, well, why not try something else? And so you download the workbook, you'll have the chance to kind of brainstorm about, okay, what am I experiencing now? What are my passions? What were my passions before? What tasks am I doing every day that I can build into something from home? So really quick, I just wanted to say that, like, Jennifer, you're a really good example of someone who is not doing full-time what you used to do. You're doing a few days a month, you know, but now you're in a business that's completely different and it's possible to do that. So, all right. So before we hit record, I asked Jennifer, you know, what is your strength? And she said that one of her strengths really is being able to separate work and family time. So why don't you give us, we'll end here with you giving us like 3 tips for the people who are watching right now who already have a business from home and feel like their work is bleeding into family time and they're just really having a hard time separating that.
Yeah, I think if I could give any advice, it would be to plan ahead. You know, I've got lists, you know, of things that I need to do with the family. I lists of things that need to get taken care of for the business and just kind of prioritizing,
Right.
you know, what the most important thing is that needs to get done for that day. I think another thing is just trying to set up some sort of schedule. You know, it doesn't need to be something that's strictly adhered to, but, you know, I find on the days that I don't have a plan and dedicated time to accomplish those tasks, I find that I don't feel like I'm doing a good job at being a mom or being an entrepreneur. I think when I have that dedicated time, I can accomplish things. You know, when I'm trying to just kind of do something quickly and wing it and Henry wakes up from his nap, I kind of leave it. I forget where I left off and I just don't feel like I can accomplish things as well. You know, and I think the other thing is just, you know, having the mobile phones, the ability to look at Facebook, look at your emails, we have the phone for the store that links onto my cell phone. It can really eat into family time. And, like I was saying earlier, I'm staying home because I want to spend time with my son, not because I want to spend time on my phone. So I think sometimes it's important to just have dedicated time that you put the phone away. Maybe, shut it off, put it in another room so you can't even see when it buzzes or lights up and you're not even tempted to look at it.
Very good. Let me ask you one more question on one of your tips. So you were talking about planning ahead and making lists. Do you use any kind of software or app on your phone, or are you like a pen and paper kind of girl? How do you?
I'm still pen and paper. Yeah, I'm kind of a late adopter with some of those things, but
Yeah.
I use like my little notes section of my phone, but
I do the same thing too.
most of the time it's just, I can scribble something down quickly and cross it off the list, and I don't know why it just feels more satisfying for me to do that too when I can cross something off the list when I finish it.
I know. I'm a pen and paper person too, and I use my notes on my phone, the app. Like if there's any time that I have an idea and I don't want to forget it, I just go into the notes and I make a note of it. I write it down there. I will say that one thing that there are just so many apps out there that can help you, and and then they translate on the computer too. One that I've actually started using over the last couple months that a friend turned me on to is Trello.com. There's a total plug right there for Trello. You can make lists and checklists, and when you're done with like the one thing on your list, and you move it to the done list. And so that's for me like checking it off on a piece of paper. So I've kind of moved digitally to that, and it also like syncs with the phone and the app and whatever. But I'm still a pen and paper person too. So everyone's got their different things, but I just wanted to give you a chance to share it in case there was something, wow, we need to use that. Like
I
pen and paper.
Magical accomplisher.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, Jennifer, well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Everyone watching, make sure to go to overthemoondiapers.com. Follow her on Facebook. She's on Instagram. Are you anywhere else that we need to know about?
Twitter as well. Yep.
She's on Twitter. Awesome. Again, thank you so much, and I can't wait to just keep in touch with you. And she will also be answering questions in our community group the week that this is broadcasted. So just know that, you guys, the week you see this come on social media in our community group, you can join us. And if you have any questions for us, she'll answer them for us. All right. Have a great day, Jennifer.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.